with Mom in the Global Art Café Podcast. It is February 1st. How did that happen?
Happy February from the Northland having a blizzard at the moment.
Are you?
We're having a blizzard.
It was
It's
snowing.
blowing 30, 40 miles an hour and snowing
Mm. It has
off
been,
and on.
yeah, it has been very windy down here in the Twin Cities. And I did see some very pretty snowflakes, although I did hear some argument on how pretty it was from somebody here. But it's not snowing anymore, but I do hear gusts of wind, so I guess you've got it came up to you.
Yeah,
Lucky
that's
you.
okay.
That's normal. You're supposed to have this.
It's supposed to be warm, yeah.
Stay warm and cozy and have some hot cocoa.
Yeah, and read a book.
What book are you reading today?
I'm reading uh, a new one. It's by Wingate. It's Before We Were Yours. It's a story of um, how uh, babies and children were trafficked actually in the late 30s, early 40s um, to wealthy people.
Hmm. Where in the U.S.?
Yes,
Oh.
instead of letting people have their babies, this adoption agency would sell the children.
Hmm.
So, and it did happen, and I'm anxious to read the book to
Was it?
see what kind
Did
of.
it happen a lot, or was this just like a isolated case?
Well, it happened a lot, but this was a major case in
Hmm.
the southern United States.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just started reading A Mother's Hope by Francine Rivers.
Yeah.
We were going to do a book club, but we're not. So I'm going to just read it myself.
That's a good start, and it is a wonderful book.
I'm just getting into it, trying to make some more time
Yeah.
to do some things for myself. And I think there's a lot of people right now that are finding out rest is essential. Taking care of your health, whether it's weight issues or diet issues. We don't like diet word. We're going to talk about words we don't like. And I think diet needs to be on the list. But how we feed our bodies, whether it's with the
And our
health,
souls.
right? So mind, body, spirit. That's the most well-known way to put it.
Yeah, right. And I think that we neglect the mind and spirit a lot, which feeds the body.
Uh,
So it's really important to take a look at what we're doing and how we're doing it, and then being kind to ourselves.
mm-hmm. And really thinking a lot about productivity. I think it's a badge of honor. The busier you are, so you can say you're productive. What did you do today? And have this long list versus maybe there's another way to do life, not be so crazy, and actually have a more fulfilled and meaningful life and still be productive. How do you balance? How do you find that perfect balance between everything, even when you're working full time? Or sometimes I think in retirement, people get busier. I stepped away from working in an office to working independently a long time ago, and I think there are equal challenges.
There are, and I was reminded in a meeting I was participating in last night that um, talked to retired people a month after they retired, and they're all frantic to find something to do because they don't know what to do with themselves. However, they haven't taken time to reflect on what that time is worth to them in any way.
Mm-hmm.
So they're desperate to do this, do that, and then they find out, oh, maybe I should back up and rethink some of this because I'm over engaged all the time.
Mm-hmm.
However, we're used to being over engaged.
I think
That's been
that's
the thing for years and years. And it's not always the best situation. Sometimes it's necessary,
mm-hmm.
sometimes it's not.
Right. And I think there's a fear that if you disengage, if we want to stay on that, if we disengage, that people won't like us, they'll think something's wrong, question your choices because you're not doing all the things that are expected at a certain point in life or certain status or whatever position you're in. How do you just do create the life that you want without so much judgment or feel, even if you make the choice, not feel guilty for doing it for yourself?
Well, I think that's the hard part right there is not feeling guilty because you're not living up to someone else's expectations that you made yours
Mm-hmm.
because they expect it. What is it you want from your life? And really think about that and value what you hear from your inner self.
Right, and I think that's the whole thing. At the end of the day, it comes back to, it always comes back to this, especially in my coaching practice. You can go round and round and round talking about all the limiting beliefs and the traumas and everything else, but where the place that you ultimately have to get is a place where you actually believe in yourself, you love yourself, and you value your worth as a person, and you just say no without guilt to all the things and are able to then finally take care of yourself in the way you should another word we're going to talk about, the way that is most beneficial. See, there's a much better way you can say things. Instead of saying I should do this, you can say it's more beneficial for me to put myself first than it is to do everything for everybody else or fulfill an expectation I feel I have on me from whatever source.
Yeah, those key words that get in our way are ones that we use every day, and
It's
they kind of
habit,
beat up on us.
right? I think it's
Shoulda,
so.
coulda, woulda, and don't should on yourself anyway.
Right? They just sneak in because it's
You
it's
do.
easier, and I think the challenge is to live a really mindful life is to decide that this kind of speech, even if it's only in your head, it's there, you're saying it in your head even if it's not out loud, and then when you find yourself talking, you say the same words, and that keeps you from living out your best life, don't you think?
I think so.
So if you just make a rule that these words are not acceptable, I now catch myself even before I say them go, oh no, wasn't supposed to say that.
Well, and you can say it, but back up and say, well,
Or
that
just
isn't
own it.
really what I'm meaning to say.
Exactly. Like, just at least catch yourself and say, you know what? I don't want to use that word because it's not really serving me.
Right. And I find myself with the issues I've had in the last couple of years, I don't have the durability and strength that I used to have, and so I still expect myself to do a certain number of things a day and have the strength to do it. However, I don't have it, and I have to be okay with that. And the doctor keeps saying, you know, you were very, very ill. It takes a long time. And don't expect in the first couple of years that you're going to be the same person that you were prior to this because that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
It'll
And
get better, but not
mm,
as better as you would perceive it should be. So you have to take the should and woulda, could, and say, okay, those don't work for me, and accept that you've really accomplished a lot by just doing whatever it was
mm-hmm.
that day and being able to say, I'm tired now. I need to rest. I'm spent now. I need to take the time to reflect
Right.
and
Keep
be really good with that, because then you have another day coming.
right. Well, it's tuning into your body and saying ahead of time, you know what? Right now, my body can't do what it used to, or, I want to lose weight. And right now, the workouts are really extremely difficult, even some 15-minute full body weight workouts that I might have done. A couple years ago, I could push through those with ease, but I have to say, you know what? Unfortunately, I'm not in that position, and I'm going to just do it because I want to have a better day the next day. And I don't have to feel bad about it. The thing to feel good about is that you do the most you can every day and be realistic about life.
And don't set limits, because you've already set a wall.
Yeah, no limits. Just
You
do.
can
Just
set a limit. However, then you have to be willing to, if you don't manage that limit, to say, okay, I did this,
mhm.
and we'll come to the next time.
Well, I'm
We
not
don't
saying I did it perfect. I'm not. I'm glad no one was watching. Let's just say that much right now. Planks on weights and deadlifts. There was no one watching, thank goodness. I hope anyway. Um, but the biggest thing was I was doing it. I was making the effort. So whatever it is, go out and make your best effort.
right.
So these words we've had a couple slip in unintentionally,
Yes,
and
I
that's
heard that butt word.
yeah. But should the only word I don't think came up was fine. I saw somebody's little bio on Facebook the other day, and it was something like, and it's somebody we won't know, and if she hears this, she might guess that we were talking about. But it was like it said, "I'm fine, really, I'm fine, just fine." It might have been put up there in sarcastic jest because she knows, but that's one of the big ones.
Yes, that's
So what when we talked about this in at the end of the year in the Global Art Cafe as we closed out the year, and I haven't got that up, so I decided we're going to just talk about because I'll get this one posted so everyone can hear. We talked fairly extensively, and I have people I've talked to since that they jokingly have texted me, "Doing fine today," you know, uh, after that conversation. So it really stuck with people and that's the thing I think, before we even get into it, is that once something is good or bad or however think about it, there's an awareness. And I
I
think,
believe so.
and that's the key thing is and then you have a choice whether if it resonates with you, if it does something for you. But I would challenge everybody after this conversation to really think about how you use these words in your life and the difference it makes when you choose to use maybe a different word or phrase in place of these words and see how different you feel. Like even in your body, I've learned that, once you become aware of how you're feeling and how you use your words, you can really change the energy, like how happy you are, how good you feel, maybe rested even, because when you use these words that don't serve you, there's sort of this negative vibe that happens.
They're limiting. They limit you.
Right. So how would you describe? Yeah. So limit you, and it kind of, well, we'll go into that further. Yeah. So which one do you want to start with? Which word should we tackle? Should. I
Ah,
guess it should be should because I just said what word should we tackle. Here's the thing, right? Let's talk about should since it's an easy word. We use it like once you are aware, it's like when you say red slug bug, all of a sudden you start seeing red cars and VWs all day long. So
right.
I've said should like 5 times, and you know what? There's nothing I should be doing right now. I'm choosing to have this conversation because I enjoy doing podcasts and talking to my mom. And I think we have valuable information to share. It's not there's nothing I should I chose to do it. So it's kind of crazy that I even said should.
It,
Who's
it's
on
a
first?
it's a commonality of what's on your tongue and in your brain.
Mm-hmm.
Can't quite pass that
Neuro,
off.
the whole neuro-linguistics.
Yes, and so we need to make a concerted effort when we speak to think as we speak and
Mm-hmm.
not limit ourselves by coming into contact with those words. Should is so limiting because it limits the person that says it. If
What's
you use what I just described to describe the word, they went,
oops.
oh. And so we
Mm-hmm.
really worked on not employing that word in our discussions.
So fouled up, insecure, neurotic, and emotionally bankrupt. Let that sink in a moment, folks. Are you really fine? I hope not. I hope you're fabulous. Like, you're grand, you're brilliant, you're the best you've ever felt, but you're certainly not fine, because that's sad. Um, yeah. It, and I think we say the words like the clients in that transitional house and recovery, they didn't know. You say it unknowingly, but once you do know, that's when you can actually make positive changes in your life. And that's what this is about. And not to get down on people for using certain words, but don't we all want to make ourselves just a little better? And these can actually make a big difference, these little changes.
Well, they make a difference in your perception of yourself.
Right, because you don't, well, that's what, like these clients you had that are recovering, from different addictions. Um, it's the easy answer, but really they're not facing the truth of how they actually feel. And that's the whole power of fine. It's powerful in not a good way because you're shutting everything out and saying I'm done.
It's a word that points you in the wrong direction in that situation. And then
Mm-hmm.
that is followed by shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Also on the naughty list.
So you put that all together and you've got a big ball of crap.
And I don't think anybody really thinks about it. And even, we're talking about now, you're like, whatever. Another lovely word. All these words are like kind of negative.
Well, and if we think about what context we use them in,
Mm-hmm.
you will then realize why what we're talking about is important. It's not that you won't ever use the word.
Right, it's going to happen.
That's not true.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a shame if you ever use the word.
Mm-hmm.
However, what you're doing is making yourself aware of how you can make yourself and others better
Mm-hmm.
by employing some other verbiage to describe where you are, what you're doing, and why you're going to do it.
Mm-hmm. Being intentional, being mindful, being aware of the words we say, because I think most people are aware that words have power. How many kids have been bullied growing up, or even through
Exactly.
a corporate experience, having a bad corporate experience with a boss or a coworker, and feeling hurt even years later from one exchange of words?
Yeah,
I'm guessing almost 100%.
I would guess.
Right? And so these are small things, but they're big words in our vocabulary. When you start actually becoming aware of these 4 or 5 different words we're talking about right now, we've got what? But, should, coulda, would, and fine. Is that 5? I don't know, I lost
I
count.
think
But
I
they're
know.
not very many. But, I should have done better at math. Okay, fine, could, should, would, uh, but. That's 5, right? Fine,
That's
could,
why.
should, but. Yeah, 5. 3 times I finally got it. 5. Only 5 words in your whole vocabulary as a starting point can shift the dynamic of your conversations with people. And it's not even just that one word, but it's everything that goes along with it, like enunciation, your delivery, your right.
It's,
You know what I'm saying?
everything about it makes your
Mm-hmm.
whole person shift and be
Yeah.
different when you find your way around
Mm-hmm.
that.
It feels so much better to say, you know what, I'm having a really good day. Or, you know what, I'm not having a great day, but thank you for asking.
There you
Versus
go.
just saying, I'm fine. It's just,
And then you're all done.
I'll see you later.
At least the other response gives opportunity for conversation if
Mm-hmm.
you want or not.
Right. And then, yeah, if they want to engage or not, like, is there something I could do to support you? Or I'm glad things are going well. Right?
Right.
Any other comments on the words? What else do we should we bring up? See, should. I say should a lot. Should. See? This is going to make me more aware. Now, after this podcast, I'm going to be like, okay, I got to work on my shoulds. I should work on my shoulds. Or should not work on my should. Yeah,
And we all need to do it.
I choose to work on not saying should so much. Sounds like it could be a tongue twister.
It could be.
Shoulda, coulda, should not, shoulda, should, could. I don't know. What else you got? People are gonna think I'm crazy. Well, they might be right.
I don't think so.
Crazy artist.
Creative person.
Oh, there it is. It's still a CR. Crazy, creative, artsy. It's all good.
Thoughtful.
Hmm?
Thoughtful.
Thoughtful. Mindful. Try to be.
That's good.
Try's another one, isn't it? I just had another one.
Ooh.
You
Oh.
hate that one. She's always hated it. Whenever I say I try to, she'd be like, you tried to? Really? You tried? So why do you hate it so
Try
much?
to do it. You
And
just
don't,
do it.
no, there's no try. There's just do, right? And definitely don't compare yourself to someone else.
Well, and try is an attempt at futility.
Oh, yeah.
Doing it is accepting it whatever way it turns out.
Right. So, like, I want to lose weight, so I'm going to try to do that. That's not really very committed.
Ah.
It doesn't even sound good. So how successful do you think I'm going to be if I say I'm going to try to?
Well, how long have you been saying I'm going to try to?
Couple of years.
That might be the answer.
Because you can keep saying try as long as you want, because you're still trying.
Absolutely.
So it's been working pretty well, except I've gained a lot of weight.
There you go. So now you're going to.
I am going to, and I can, and I will. Much more positive, and making a commitment to doing better. I think we all have things that we can do better at. I don't know.
We do. And it's changing our approach to whatever part of our world we need to change.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes you try certain things and they don't work. That doesn't mean it's a failure. You just move on to do the next thing so you can do it better. Do it in a better way. And yeah, stay in that do approach rather than try approach.
I think so.
Do and be, don't try. What is the whole Yoda quote? Somebody will comment. There's a whole Yoda thing about that.
I don't know that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not very Star Wars or is that Star? I don't even know.
I never have been.
We don't know. We're not into the popular media.
Not advanced to that point.
No. We'd rather talk about neurogymnastics.
Ooh.
Ew. So I think we covered that, at least for now.
I
I'd
think
love, yeah, I think, we covered it.
food for thought.
Yes. Are you good? Are you fine? Or are you fabulous? Leave us some comments and subscribe to the Global Art Cafe. And my YouTube channel is Lisa Kindle Artist. And on all other social media channels, Lisa Kindle Artist. Go grab a coloring book and take some time to relax and color in a picture I've created for you. Maybe some creative wellness pages. Engage and have fun. And don't try, just go do and follow your dreams. Stay positive.